When most people think of crustaceans, animals such as crabs, lobsters, or shrimp may come to mind. However, there are tiny crustaceans called amphipods, which have some of the most important roles in our Earth's waters. Hello, welcome to Wild Side of Things, and today I'm talking about the underappreciated amphipods. Amphipods are a diverse grouping of crustaceans, being found in nearly every body of water on Earth. That includes the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, the deepest known part of the ocean. A species which lives in the Challenger Deep is one of the largest known species. Typically, amphipods are tiny at 3 to 4 centimeters, but the creatively named supergiant amphipod can reach lengths of 28 to 34 centimeters. There is also a unique family of amphipods, commonly known as the landhoppers or lawn shrimp, which inhabit forests and gardens. Whereabouts they live in their environment varies from species to species, but in each of these environments, amphipods are oftentimes one of the most abundant invertebrates in their ecosystems. However, in more isolated environments such as lakes, ponds, or rivers, they are oftentimes dominated by a single species with very few of other species. Their high abundance is critical for aquatic ecosystems as they play extremely important roles in the food chain and nutrient cycles, which will be elaborated later on. They are, however, extremely sensitive to changes. In fact, they are one of the most sensitive aquatic invertebrates. This can be especially catastrophic in polluted areas and areas with invasive species. In some parts of the world, invasive amphipod populations have been introduced and caused the decline of native populations. As mentioned previously, amphipods are critical keystone species. This is because amphipods are detritivores. This means they eat decaying organic matter, such as leaves, animal parts, and poop. This prevents too much nutrients from building up in ecosystems and thus preventing overgrowth of algae. Along with this, they then distribute those nutrients to other organisms from being eaten and through their poop. They're also an important food source for a number of animals and are eaten by pretty much everything above them in the food chain. Amphipod is the name of the entire taxonomic order all amphipods belong to. It can be easy to squish crabs, lobsters, and amphipods in the same classification. However, while they are both crustaceans, crabs and lobsters belong to a separate order known as the decapods. Amphipoda can be further divided into 4 suborders: Gameridae, which contains majority of the freshwater amphipods; Capelloidae, which contains the skeleton shrimp and whale ice; Hyperidae, which are planktonic, meaning they drift in open water, and are exclusively marine. And finally, there's the Engulphalidae, who are worm-like amphipods. Amphipods have useful claws. These can be used for a number of reasons depending on the species. Most will use it to dig their burrows they live in. Skeleton shrimp and whale ice, on the other hand, will use it to grip onto other animals and hitch rides. Some are even parasitic, and others are commensal, and so use this to stay on their animal. As well as that, amphipods are similar to many insects in that they have both antennae and compound eyes. If you watched my video on flies, you probably know what a compound eye is by now, or you already knew what it was. If not, compound eyes are essentially eyes made up of many more eyes. The compound eyes of amphipods have been adapted for their environments, especially in the deep sea species. There's one species of amphipod discovered as recently as 2015, known as Paraphronima gracilis, which has been found to have up to 16 retinas, the part of the eye that absorbs light. This will give them acute vision in the pitch black world they live in. An amphipod's mating style is very similar to that of frogs in that they will grab onto their mates for several days until fertilization happens. This gripping, called amplexus, can last anywhere from 2 to 16 days and only finishes once the female molts, at which point the eggs are released out of their pouch. Babies are neotenic, which basically means the babies look like smaller versions of adults and so don't go through any larval stages. If they make it to adulthood, typically amphipods will only live for up to a year.